Hello, my name is Steve Setman. I am the Chief Probation Officer for the County of Orange. We recognize the important role that families play in the development and success of our youth. This video was created to help you understand the complexities of the Orange County juvenile justice system and to assist you in navigating that system. Involvement with juvenile justice system can be very confusing and often frightening time for youth and their families. You can expect to be treated with dignity, respect, as we partner together with you to obtain the best outcome for your child. Additionally, we are here to offer you resources needed to help support your family. This video covers a variety of topics, and if you have any additional questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to ask.
Navigating the juvenile justice system can be overwhelming. This video was created to help families, guardians, and caretakers better understand the system and learn what can happen when a youth breaks the law. Additionally, you will learn about the different professionals you may encounter throughout the process and receive some tips to assist you and your youth. It is important to know the law requires the court to act in the best interest of the youth and public safety. As a result, every case in the juvenile justice system is considered unique. If a youth under the age of 18 is detained by a police officer for breaking the law, the officer has a number of different options. The officer may release the youth with a warning, release but submit the violation to the probation department for processing, or book the youth into juvenile hall. Let's take a look at what happens when a youth is booked into juvenile hall.
When a youth is arrested and booked into juvenile hall, they are going to go through a medical pre-assessment. This is done to make sure they are medically stable to be booked into juvenile hall. A clothing body search is then performed. The youth will empty all of his or her pockets and remove their shoes, which will be checked for contraband. The youth will take a shower and is then issued clean clothing. The youth's property, including clothing, shoes, and other personal belongings, are inventoried and stored until the youth is released from custody or their parent or guardian makes arrangements to pick them up. Items of value such as jewelry and money are put in a safe until the youth is released or their parents can come pick them up. The youth will then go through the intake interview process and determination will be made as to where the youth will be housed. The youth will also be fingerprinted and photographed. The youth is also allowed to make an initial phone call. Once the youth has been assigned to a housing unit, the youth will be allowed to make daily collect phone calls to their families.
Once the screening process is complete, the youth will be assigned to a living unit, assessed and enrolled in school, and offered a variety of programs which include outdoor sports and exercise, and free time in the evening for programs, activities, phone calls, and board games. The youth will also have access to medical, dental, mental health, and religious services while at juvenile hall. Tips for families, guardians, and caretakers. Be sure to bring money for parking in the public parking structure, as parking cannot be validated for when you come to visit your child or for court appearances. Remember to bring photo identification each time you visit your child at juvenile hall. It is very important to bring as much documentation you have to verify the information provided, such as birth certificates for the youth, immunization record, school records, marriage certificates, guardianship paperwork, restraining order paperwork, etc. Now that we have heard what happens in the booking and housing units, let's hear from some of the court officials.
The role of the public defender is to represent the young person that's charged with the crime. The public defender's office becomes involved at the initial court appearance. However, the young person or their family members can always call the public defender's office prior to the initial court appearance, and someone in our office will assist in explaining the overall process and can also answer general questions that you may have. If a family has not retained an attorney, The Public Defender's Office will be appointed as the attorney for the young person who is alleged to have committed the crime. We become appointed, and that could be at the in-custody detention hearing or at an out-of-custody proceeding, which is called a pro per pretrial. The goal of the Public Defender's Office is to zealously defend and vigorously advocate for each and every single client. Our office is readily available and is always here to assist the young person at all stages of the proceedings. At the initial and future court appearance, the public defender will discuss the charges with the youth and their family. Additionally, we will explain different options and different consequences of the crime that the youth is alleged to have committed. We will also look at different options for resolving the case if that's what the client would like to do. Options for resolving the case can include deferred entry of judgment, informal handling, completion of community service, counseling, therapy, and treatment. We would also look at different services which may best suit that particular client, such as drug rehabilitation, assistance with school services, or mental health treatment, and we would try to find the best course of action for each client. Most of the cases at juvenile court do not go to court trial. A court trial is explained to every client, and every client has a right to choose to take their case to trial. Alongside the attorneys in our office, we also have investigative assistants, paralegals, clerical staff, and interpreters who work within the office. Everyone who will be able to help that client either go to trial and fight the case or successfully resolve the case and then do well on probation. Tips for families coming to juvenile court for the first time would include bringing documentation of school records, current report cards, certificates for participation in athletics or extracurricular activities, anything that describes your child other than the crime that he or she may be charged with. Also helpful may be participation in church youth groups or other counseling services that your child has been attending. Additionally, you will speak with an attorney on that day. They will explain the process of what will happen in the court. Things happen very quickly once you are in the courtroom, and it's difficult sometimes to understand what is going on. Understand that after the initial appearance, most cases do get set for a future court date, so there will be time to understand the proceeding and what's going on, as well as to discuss with an attorney future proceedings and what the plan of action will be for the young person that is charged with the crime.
Many steps take place before a potential case reaches the district attorney's office. When a crime is committed and the police are called out to the scene, they investigate and collect evidence. The police agency may have a program in place to divert or handle the less serious cases committed by juveniles informally, so they won't have to be involved in the criminal justice system. If the youth fails to complete these requirements, then the police agency will refer the case to probation. When the nature of the crime is too serious for informal handling, then the police agency will refer the case to probation directly. After the assessment, the probation department can decide either to handle the matter informally or to refer it to the district attorney's office for consideration of filing of criminal charges. So we need to remember that by the time the case reaches the district attorney's office, many youths have already been given an opportunity for informal handling, either through the law enforcement agency or through probation. So when the case actually reaches the district attorney's office, there's been some opportunities for informal handling. When the district attorney's office receives the reports, they thoroughly review that case to decide whether or not to file the case. If the DA filing the case believes that that case can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, then the case will be filed and sent to court. Although a deputy district attorney can only suggest a particular sentence that we feel is appropriate for the crime, the judge is the one that makes the final determination of what the sentence will be. So it's very important to remember that it's up to the youth to decide how seriously they want to take probation. If they comply with the terms of probation, they could get off probation as early as 6 months. However, if they fail to comply and fail to get their life back on track, they could be on probation for a very long time.
The role of the court probation officer is to act as a liaison between the probation department and the judge. As the court officer, we represent the probation department and we provide information to the court, such as programs offered through probation and in the community, restitution, facts regarding the youth's case, social history, dates of arrest, and dates of releases. We take part in discussions with the judge, the DA, and the public defender. We discuss what is in the best interest of the youth and try to come up with a resolution that is going to best fit the youth's needs. Our role as court probation officers is also to consider the safety of the community and what is going to benefit the victim. For families, I would recommend coming to court if there is a court date. It's hard, you have to work, and you have other kids at home, but I would recommend making a huge effort to show up in court to show the support for the youth, especially when the youth is in custody. Seeing a parent makes a big difference in the youth's attitude while they are in custody. Also, when the parent shows up in court, they are able to get the information that they would not otherwise get. A lot of times, the youth interpret what is being said in court differently than what is actually being said. So when a parent is there, the parent may be able better to explain what happened in court to the youth. Since the court does go so fast, and a lot of times the youth is listening but not understanding what is being said. I think it is a huge deal for parents to actually show up in court, be there, and show support for their child.
My role is to make sure that the process is fair and that everyone has had an opportunity to be heard. If the Deputy District Attorney and the Defense Counsel cannot come to some resolution that they can agree on in a case, I get involved. I try to find a resolution. When a case can't be resolved, we have a jurisdictional hearing, and it is up to me as a judge at that hearing to determine whether the allegations have been proven or not. If the allegation or allegations are true, it's my decision then to come up with an appropriate disposition to ensure that the young person stays out of trouble. When I think about a disposition, I consider public safety as well as the best interests of the youth. In considering an appropriate disposition, it's my job to figure out what level of supervision is needed for the youth and formulate terms and conditions of probation, as well as referrals to appropriate services that will ensure he or she stays out of trouble and is headed in the right direction. What I want parents to know before they come to juvenile court is that the judges of the juvenile court are parents too. We know that making mistakes is part of growing up. The juvenile court is not here to punish our youth. The purpose of juvenile court is to provide these youth with the treatment, guidance, and services that they need to stay out of trouble in the future. Almost all of the youth who come to juvenile court are given a second chance through programs of diversion and probation. Most of them will complete these programs without any trouble. They won't get in trouble again, and they won't need to come back to court. For those who do get in trouble again, we will continue to work with them to steer them in a positive direction.
Let's recap. The court process is comprised of a series of hearings. These hearings include a detention hearing, which is the first court appearance for youth who are currently in custody at juvenile hall. During the detention hearing, the judge will determine if the youth should stay in custody or be released to their parents, guardian, or caretakers. Whether in custody or out of custody, during the youth's first court appearance, they will be advised of their charges and appointed an attorney. Next is the initial petition. The initial petition is where the youth's attorney, the district attorney, and the judge try to come up with a resolution for the case. A jurisdiction hearing is similar to an adult trial with a few exceptions. Specifically, juveniles are not entitled to a jury trial. The judge alone makes the determination as to whether the youth has or has not committed a crime. A disposition hearing is the hearing in which the judge renders a decision on the case. Now let's learn what happens if you are placed on a term of formal probation.
If the youth is placed on probation, and the youth and parent or guardian will be instructed to meet with me. During our first meeting, we will discuss the terms and conditions of probation and any special orders of the court, such as drug testing, search orders, and participation in counseling or other treatment programs. This meeting is important because we will discuss probation's expectations as well as the responsibilities of the youth and their parent and or guardian. My role as the assigned probation officer is to supervise the youth and hold the youth accountable. I am also responsible for keeping the court informed of the youth's progress and compliance with the court orders. Our goal is for the youth to successfully terminate probation. However, ultimately, it is up to the youth to abide by the terms and conditions of probation.
Now let's look at some of the programs and activities offered through the probation department.
While at juvenile hall, youth will be assigned a room. All youth are provided with 3 meals, clothing, and toiletry items, medical services, and therapeutic services as needed. Youth participate in a variety of programs including school, Monday through Friday, daily outdoor sports and exercise programs, religious services, and various holiday activities. The school is run year-round through the Department of Education, and all youth are required to attend. Faith-based services, including weekly church services and Bible studies, are offered to all youth wishing to participate. Youth are allowed contact with their families through daily phone calls, letter writing, and visitation held each Saturday. Each living unit offers a variety of recreational activities such as games, movie night, arts and crafts, ping pong, and video game competition.
Welcome to the Youth Guidance Center, or YGC. YGC is one of several camps run by the Probation Department. You are in the day area of a typical unit. This facility has 2 male units and 1 female unit with a capacity of 16 youth per unit. While at this facility, you will be required to participate in a court-ordered drug treatment program, which focuses on recognition of drug abuse issues and education on how to make changes in your life. In order to participate in the full treatment program at YGC, the youth will need to have at least 90 days left in their commitment after detoxing and being medically and psychologically cleared for the program. All of our camp facilities have evidence-based programs such as EPICS or ART to help youth learn strategies for everyday life as well as drug and gang-specific issues. These programs will help the youth to identify their feelings and thoughts, which lead them to make both positive and negative choices. The youth will also participate in monthly case review meetings with their treatment teams and their parents or guardians to help address many issues. All of our camps have state-licensed therapists through Safe Schools and SIGU who will help the youth dig deeper into their core issues of why they use and help them to begin making aftercare plans. All probation facilities have an on-site Department of Education-run high school to handle the youth's educational needs. The DOE will help youth catch up on credits or graduate. ROP is available to help youth learn job skills through several different programs such as culinary arts, building maintenance, or landscaping. At any of our camps, we can help a youth begin their journey to a changed life.
A famous African proverb states that it takes a village to raise a child. Since 1999, we have been walking alongside families and have learned that it takes an entire community of different people in order for our youth to experience and grow in a safe environment. Hello. My name is Erica Perales, and I am the Executive Director for Padres Unidos. The role of our community-based organization is to provide you the knowledge and support you need to get through these very difficult moments. Throughout our many years of experience with working with at-risk youth, we have learned that communication and cooperation between the family, the probation department, and the larger juvenile justice system are key to you overcoming this difficult time. This is why we have established a parent outreach, education, and support program. This program provides you with parenting classes that demystify the negative myths and hopelessness generated by the incarceration of your youth, as well as help you strengthen your parenting knowledge, skills, and abilities. It also gives you access to a professional community worker that will walk hand in hand with you, providing information, resources, and support throughout the way. All of our services are crafted to help you build resilience and promote the reintegration of your youth into your family and community. We promote a culture of shared responsibility and education. We nurture a supportive space where the type of dialogue is established that ignites hope for the future, because successful families build successful communities.
As a young person who spent time on probation, in juvenile hall, and at YGC, I am very familiar with the daunting complexity involved in the legal process, as well as the fears and frustrations experienced by juveniles and their parents during this time. However, as you have already heard, we must all realize that probation offers youth a second chance to reflect on their mistakes, with the blessing of correcting their behavior while they are still young, where their record can in most cases be expunged before they are adults. This gives young people the hope of a bright and successful future in spite of their current shortcomings. For parents, please do not give up on your children. Be there through every step of the process and talk to them about their mistakes, why it is wrong, and what their plans will be for their future to prevent further troubles. Be patient and work with the probation officer closely to maximize the chance of a successful outcome for your child. As you have heard, officers of probation and judges are parents as well, and do not want to punish your children, but open their eyes to the light and hope of a better day, where they can be productive, highly functioning members of society. For youth, please realize that this is a blessing in disguise, an intervention designed to lead you back to the straight and narrow path. This experience should be an awakening for you, not a reason to label yourself as a criminal, and certainly not an excuse to continue to participate in delinquent behavior. Reflect on your mistakes. Think about what will happen if you continue on this negative path, and make a plan to succeed and make positive choices in the future. Respect the legal system, the officers and judges, your parents, and yourselves. I did, And because I did, I regained my freedom, the opportunity to raise my own beautiful family, go to medical school, and become a doctor. I did it, so will you.
Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you find the information helpful. Please know we are always here for you and your family should you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.